Welcome back to Music Theory Logic. Andrew here, and today is a different kind of video. You may have seen my short yesterday where I unboxed this clone or replica of a Kurt Cobain signature Jaguar guitar by Fender. I'm going to play it a little bit for you today. My first thoughts with it were, one, it's a very, very pretty instrument. Two, visually, everything seems to be correct in terms of what's on this, from the pickups to the three knobs here. Fender Jaguars have two knobs. This has three. It's supposed to be a master tone knob, a volume of your neck pickup, and a volume of your bridge pickup. Those don't seem to be working the way I would expect them to. Perhaps I am doing something wrong. Side note, I have spent my life playing lots of guitar. I have been obsessed with playing the guitar, but I have never even attempted to work on my own instruments. I have always gotten my guitars set up by other people, and when I get new pickups or something like that, I have professionals put them in. I've just always wanted to focus on what I do with my hands, that is. So some of the things that are supposed to happen, this is supposed to be a rhythm and lead knob. This is supposed to, I think, control the volume or perhaps just on and off of the pickups. This doesn't seem to work the way I would expect it to. When I'm in what would be like the lead mode or up here, I don't get any volume, but when I'm down here, I get full volume. All right, so let's play this a little bit. So the first thing I check out when I have a guitar like this that I'm trying to put through the test is the intonation. Intonation on a guitar refers to basically the idea that if your strings are in tune, then and you play a note properly, like this is tuned to an E, then this note should be an A. You will find with guitars when the intonation starts to slide or starts to become wrong that you'll be in tune, but certain notes will be out of tune. And once again, that's something that a guitar setup or a guitar technician can help to fix. That being said, a lot of really like lower level guitars are just not built correctly, and so the intonation is just not repairable from my understanding. So the first thing I play around with this are octaves. This is a good way to find any notes that are out. And to my pleasant surprise, this guitar seems intonated pretty well. Then I'll play some songs. This is like Machine Head, Bush, all octaves in the beginning. Seems like it works. The next thing I'm going to play, this wasn't even intentional to get to a story, but I'm going to play Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, and there's a famous story in rock and roll history. Don't know where exactly I heard this, but the story is that Nirvana, towards the beginning of them coming on the scene and taking over the world with what people would eventually call grunge music, they were playing a sold-out show. Axl Rose and perhaps more Guns N' Roses members were at the show, and Axl Rose went up to Kurt Cobain backstage after the show and, as the story goes, told him something like, "I love what you do, you're everything that I wanted to be." And Kurt Cobain said something really sort of cold and rude and said something like, "I could care less what you think, you're like, I don't even like your band," or something like that. Which does sound like the person that Kurt Cobain is said to kind of be, like a real visionary. He had an idea for the sound he wanted. If you ever are in Seattle, I highly recommend going to Experience the Music Project, a museum there. They have a Nirvana section where you can see actual things that Kurt Cobain, like he made lists about checking for like a gear check when they were leaving a stop, when they were doing their own tours or managing themselves. There's their contracts their record contracts and the difference in money. I think the first album they got like $1,000, and the last one I remember was like $60,000 up front. Those numbers might be wrong, but that's what the younger version of myself when I was there, I remember those numbers being. So here's Sweet Child of Mine. The reason this is a good riff is there's a lot of octaves built into it for intonation. Sounds good. Some of the other things I always play to check intonation: Hey Joe, Hendrix. Works fully. It sounds to be, once again, a lot better intonated than I was expecting, or my experience with guitars like this that are maybe made by brands that aren't known, or are perhaps made to like be a recreation or a clone of a guitar made by a quality brand like Fender, like this guitar. So once again, really pleasantly surprised. My brother's going to be super excited that this plays as well as it does. All right, so what you've been waiting for, some Nirvana stuff. Their biggest hit record. Solo. Works quite well. So a lot of Nirvana stuff is in different tunings. I have this guitar in standard tuning. So let's take it to drop. D. Close enough. I think that's it. It's been a while since I played that one. Let's go back to standard. Awesome. So it really does sound better than I was expecting it to sound. So that is a win for this one. Some other famous stuff that is more of my own influence than Kurt Cobain's, but some famous riffs for you. Works really well. Some of my favorite Buckethead. What else? So, yeah, I'm really, really impressed with just how well the guitar is intonated. Plays really nice. It's a fun instrument. It looks awesome. But once again, let's go over some of the problems. So this stuff down here does not work the way I was expecting it to. So when I'm in the top position, it seems like these are just all off. On, off. Now, I believe this is supposed to be rhythm and lead mode, and I think these are supposed to either control the volume or the on and off of either pickup. So something's off with that. Over here, these knobs are master tone knob, definitely works. If I play this, you can hear how that brighter, more muffled, what we would expect. Seems like it's working right. If I'm here in the neck pickup, volume of that looks like it's correct. If I'm in this bridge pickup, this should be the volume, so this shouldn't affect it. It doesn't. This one should affect it. It does. So that is all correct. This seems to be like a kill switch. It just turns off everything regardless of what else I do. So everything down here, it seems like it's perfect. Up here needs a little bit of just being looked at. If this isn't perfect to the guitar, I still think this was probably a net win for my brother getting this instrument. And if you're in a position where you can't possibly afford or save for the authentic Kurt Cobain signature, and this will make you practice or play more, then I think it's definitely a worthwhile instrument to get. I will say that in the time I've been playing guitar, experimenting with nicer guitars and not nicer guitars, the gap seems to be closing. Like what they can do with factory-made guitars seems to be getting better. Perhaps that's just a result of the international, like the internet economy getting better. Like we can access those instruments. I don't think that's the case, but it's definitely gotten a lot better. So on a final side note, ethically speaking, so this says, so first of all, I think this is somewhat wrong. Up here it says Fender Jazzmaster. The headstock is like, it looks the same as a Stratocaster, although it's bigger, hence the Jazzmaster and not the Strat head. On the videos I could find of Kurt Cobain playing his signature model, it looked like this was smaller, so this might not be to scale. So there's subtle things that are wrong with it. I'm going to advise my brother and anyone of you that get an instrument, especially if it's like a used instrument or something that isn't as like a top of the line, it's really helpful to bring the instrument into your local guitar technician, have them check it out themselves, have them give you their input on things they could do to improve the instrument. Some really simple fixes like replacing the tuning heads sometimes that can make a big difference, or replacing the nut of the guitar, this right here, or you could even like get a different actual like hardware setup. Or the thing that I think this guitar needs is somebody that understands the electronics of the guitar to open this up and to make sure that everything is soldered correctly. So it's possible that this just stuff isn't wired quite right. And that may be fixable or it may not. So I'll circle back with this. If you find this stuff helpful, you'd help me out a lot by subscribing to the channel. I'll throw you an update either in a short or like a community post. But once again, if you can afford the authentic guitar, no one, not even people that love and play these guitars, are going to claim that that's not a better instrument. If you get an authentic Jaguar or an authentic Fender American-made Stratocaster, everything is going to be better about the guitar, from the woods that are used to the consistency from instrument to instrument, to how the guitar is assembled, to really just like everything from the wiring to everything. You get what you pay for in music, whether that's with mixing engineers or producers or anything. But once again, if this is all you can possibly like save to get, and you love this guitar, do it. Form a band, write some hit songs, get a Fender endorsement, tell them the story about how you fell in love with their guitars but couldn't afford them and got famous on a clone, and then Now you have your own Fender signature guitar. That would be pretty cool. Don't forget about the little guys out here on YouTube. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Hopefully you found this helpful. Go back to playing guitar, making music, or listening to music, whatever it is that you like to do. Keep it fun, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, and thanks for hanging out.